Welcome friends, my name is Jelix. Did you like that new intro? I put a lot of work into it. And I mean a lot of work. A lot of f***ing work. Speaking of intros, do you all remember Call of Duty Black Ops 1? That game really didn't have an intro, it kinda just spat you right into the main menu. Speaking of Call of Dudes, it reminds me of a story of me, my friend Bo, and Trace. This happened years ago when Call of Duty first came out. See, back then, I was a short, chubby, fat kid. And Bo was actually shorter than me back then, although his head was way too big for his body. We used to say he had a light bulb head, but don't tell him I said that. And Trace was a short, scrawny kid. I mean, not much has changed. Maybe his hair was shorter back then? Also something that hasn't changed much is we loved playing video games back then. More specifically, Call of Duty Black Ops. More specifically, Call of Duty Zombies. To be honest, it was more Trace and Bo that were obsessed with it. See, back then I was too much of a to play scary zombie games like that. Bo was young and impressionable, as most kids are, so after finishing a round of zombies, he got a great idea. Pfft, that was easy. I could do that. So that is exactly what he tried to do. He walks over to my shelf. He goes and grabs the airsoft gun. With airsoft gun in hand, he says the fabled words that every child says right before trying to impress someone.
Watch what I can do.
He then jumps up into the air, spreads his legs, takes the gun, points it between his legs from behind his back, and then he shoots the gun. Bo then lands back on the ground. Meanwhile, a hard plastic bullet, going about 400 feet per second, is bouncing all around the goddamn basement. Now you're probably about to say what the famous words of a Christmas Story said. Well, you're kinda right. The speeding projectile finally ends its journey by landing right into Trace's eye. Trace then covered his eye and screamed out in pain. I stood there in shock while Bo stood there kind of proud of his bullseye. Or should I say, Trace's eye. Yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da. We decided shortly after that to put the gun back and go back to playing video games. Well, I mean, they went back to playing video games. I was still too much of a to face the scary zombies. Yep, things can happen in the blink of an eye. Or faster than that considering Trace. To add insult to injury, there so happens to be a character in Call of Duty called Nikolai, and the one quote he said the most while playing was, "Nikolai cannot die!" And Trace would just turn to Bo and be like, "Yeah, but my eye can." The moral of the story is just because you play video games doesn't mean you have great hand-eye coordination, but does mean you get bullet eye coordination. Good night, everybody.